Good man, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, year is coming to an end. There's been plenty of cool events that happened and cool stuff alongside with also challenging stuff. And yeah, let's give it a try. Can you tell from scratch what was the most epic moment in this year? Can you say it right off?
For me,
Yeah.
the birth of my second daughter.
All right.
Yeah, at home, like personally, like for me, that was my best personal moment. Um, yeah, and every day since then has also been epic. Um, Professionally, the best moment. Let me think. Hmm. I think meeting new people at work. I've met some new colleagues recently,
Mhm.
and yeah, I think I've made some good new relationships there with new people. Like a big shout out to Beverly and to Emma.
Mhm.
These people, these are ladies who I work with, who are both awesome. And Beth as well. Beth also just got a new haircut. She let Emma cut her hair, which is weird.
Mhm.
Yeah, it turned out great. I don't think I would ever let somebody cut my hair who I didn't know wasn't a professional hairdresser. Um, and then I also met a guy called Job. Funnily enough, that was his name, or Job. I'm pretty sure it's Job. Job Alain Farfair something else. Really cool name. And then shout out to the new guy, Roberto.
Mhm.
Welcome, Roberto. Yeah, so I've met loads of new people at work as well, which when you think about it and you work with these people every day, unless somebody asks you, what have you done this year, you don't really take into account the people that you've met through your
Mhm.
work.
Yeah.
And then for my own sort of hobbies or for study, I guess one of my biggest highlights has been meeting you, dude.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I feel like we really connected like straight away, and it's just been awesome like chatting to you. And then
Yeah.
also, I guess regarding the podcast, I've met a lot of interesting people this year. Like Lee Hutchins, he was a really good guest.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was a really nice guy, really interesting guy. And there's been a lot of really really nice people who I've met who've given up
Mhm.
their time to come on the show, and to talk about their interests or to have conversations with me over the past sort of 6 months. So yeah, it's been really really cool. Like trying to think of some of the highlights. Just give me a minute because I'm not very good with name recalls.
Yeah, never mind. I mean, I've been looking into, I guess, half of the Cybernaut videos that you've produced this far, and I
Yeah.
find it very, very interesting and very vivid. And what you actually get the people to, talk about is really interesting. I mean, you have found something that seems to be really you, and I really enjoy it. So keep on doing that, and don't hold back. Just get people on your show. And yeah, I'm looking very much forward to the new profile that you try to create next year with the Cybernaut
Yeah, yeah.
club with a dedicated direction.
Mm.
Maybe I won't be any part of that anymore. So
Oh, of
it's our
course you
time
will.
today.
Of course you will, definitely. I think it would be awesome to have you on, as like even a co-host, and we could have me and you, talking to the other guests. I think that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
sure.
Yeah, I think mixing it up next year and having more than one person on at once as well might be cool, might be fun to watch.
Mhm.
I'm sure there's a niche for people who enjoy Zoom videos. There's going to be some people out there who've been in lockdown, and they've been forced to do these Zoom videos. But then when they've gone back to the office, I bet there's some people out there who are like thinking, "Man, I enjoyed those Zoom videos. I wonder if there's anything out there that I can,
Yeah,
get that
yeah,
experience from."
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's yeah, it's been a good year, and yeah, thanks for your feedback, man. That's really good. I am looking forward to the new year. I've been I've not been too well over the past couple of weeks, like on and off. I've been having like cold and flu
Mhm.
symptoms, and in one of the last podcasts with Miles, I can't remember his last name, but the chap Miles, the computer science guy. I felt like death when I was doing that
Mhm.
podcast. I was like really acting my way through it. Like my enthusiasm was real, but I was like kind of fading in and out of concentration, which is, you know, it's not good.
Mhm.
And my nose kept running and stuff like that. It's just, this is not a good look for a podcast. But
Yeah.
I just couldn't cancel on him because yeah, I had it booked for so long, and he was kind of like a high profile guy who like gave me a chance, you know. So that that chap is really you know, somebody special in computer science academia in
Mhm.
the UK. So I had to, the show must go on, as they say. The show must
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
what are your biggest moments of 2021? Like break it down the way I did, like so personally,
Mhm.
professionally. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of reflection this year, starting the year off with, I don't know, it wasn't anxiety or it wasn't really depression, like frustration or whatever, but it was like, you know, being in this COVID situation for more than 1 year, and actually figures increasing, and well, the world looked pretty pessimistic at a stage beginning of this year. And work wise, it wasn't going any step forward into the direction I wanted it to go. And so I then started to reflect and ask myself, okay, what do I really need, for, I guess, the first time in a long, long time, because I haven't had the chance because I was so involved in all that work. And then I guess the best moment later on, I guess it came 2 or 3 months back when all these reflection and all these, you know, asking myself what I really want, and who I am and all that resulted in having the idea of what my purpose in life could be. And that was such an eye-opening and intense moment with a new energy I've never felt before. Sort of a confirmation of what I could have known, but I haven't had this clear. And so, yeah, ever since, this gave me so much clarity that I can really see the world out of different eyes, actually, through much, much more positive eyes. And I've learned that it's all in my head, basically. So
yeah,
what I'm
for
trying now is
sure.
to, you know, to give a shout out to everybody who, you know, has a challenge in front of him or her, who struggles, who seeks for purpose or, you know, direction or clarity in the end. Because I want to share and, well, motivate as many people as possible to also feel this massive energy. So
So what was it that gave you that energy? You said that you tried reflection. How what was that process like for you? Did you pray, or did you just think about where you were and where you've been and where you want to be? Like, how did it manifest itself for you?
I guess, I mean, starting the situation off with a feeling of a little bit of dilemma, being in a work environment that actually the coworkers are really nice, but it doesn't give me any purpose inside that job, was kind of a dilemma because I didn't want to leave my nice coworkers, but on the other hand, I felt it's not it. There's something missing. And so I then ask myself, okay, what do I really need? What are my values, my core values that need to be fulfilled that I'm happy? And I figured out that my values don't match the company's values I was working for. So that was the biggest learning, actually, to really understand my own values. And from there, I wanted to understand what else do or what else I'm good at, you know, to look into my passion and try to combine my strength and my values and my passion, you know, to come up with something that is really powerful and that gives me fulfillment. And doing that, actually, and always asking myself, okay, is this what I want, and what else do I need? I then, shifted towards something that gave me an idea of what I'm good at. And I look back all the way to, childhood, and all the way to, the stuff that I did when I was a teenager,
Mm.
and over time just stopped doing because I was too busy then. But deep down in my heart, and it still is a passion, it's a big passion of mine to travel and to be in new circumstances. And I couldn't do that for the past 2, 3 years. It's a big passion to find creative solutions, but the past 2 years were just troubleshooting. And I was working in medtech or distribution and purchasing of medical devices. So all I was trying was to get as many face masks and the corona tests and all that stuff to Germany, so that everybody can have a safe life.
Yeah.
There was no time and no room for creativity or self-reflection, really. And yeah, in the end, it all resulted in frustration. And as I was not really taking care of my core values and giving them some food to chew on, I learned it the hard way. And then started the reflection and came out with the idea that my purpose is to help people to discover their own potentials and give them a hand living a fulfilled life by their own terms. And that's so much that I'm striving for myself now, and I'm willing to share all these. So yeah,
I think there's even in personal relationships, if you don't have shared values with your partner, that relationship is not going to go very far. And it's the same when you're in a place of work. A long time ago, before I went to university, I kind of went from one job to the next, one retail job, not just trying to figure out what it was that I liked. I knew I liked communicating with people, so any sort of customer service role was okay for me. I had a natural ability at that. So I never found it difficult finding a job or getting through the interview stage. And I still don't, thankfully. But I started working for this. I don't know if this company even exists anymore. A company in the UK that I don't want to get in any trouble, but basically it's a company that loans people money and cashes checks for people, and it's like branded as a shop. And so I worked there for a short period, and I went on the training program, and I saw how they wanted me to treat the customers, and what the company sort of values or ethics were all about. And it was all about maximizing harm, like, to the consumers, if I'm honest, like with insane like APR rates on the finance offers that they would offer to people. And basically this machine, this business that was made, I was in there and I was like, I can't do this. Like, this is disgusting to me. That you would pretend to offer a service to people, but actually what you're doing is enslaving them to debt. So yeah, I had to leave that company because it just didn't feel right. And ever since then, I've avoided jobs like that. And wherever there's like a sales job, where they teach you sort of mind manipulation, or sort of like tricks to sort of trick people into like buying your goods, I'm just like, oh, that makes my skin crawl. Like, I need to stay away from that. So yeah, it's.
And I guess that's a really good point, because in the end, I mean, what most of us are striving for is to appear authentic, and putting on that suit and putting on that tie and all that crap that you are not, creates a barrier between your personality and what you pretend to be. And I guess most people are smart enough to sense that you're playing a role and it's not authentic. And so I guess, I mean, my mission right now is to help people to understand who they really are, give them a hand to understand what they're all about, and to dig deep and make sense of it in order to unfold all that potential that is there. And regardless of what society wants you to be, regardless of what your pulse wants you to be, to really come out strong and be as you are, because I mean we are all unique and everybody has their strength and their superpowers, and it's not the goal that we are all the same and we are just playing that rat race and make as much money as possible to get a heart attack at 42. And that's not the purpose.
That's not the goal, not
Yeah.
at all. And for me, for a long time I thought that not that I was always driven by money. I haven't been not sort of not greedy at all, but I do like technology and comics, and I like material things. I like like cameras and PCs and stuff like that. But my objective was never to go out and get the most money. And I guess since having children, that's changed even more. I've kind of realized, whoa, the most important thing to me right now is stability, and providing for my family and making sure that they've got everything that they need. And all of the other noise that there was before, or fear of missing out, or oh, I wonder what that person's doing, or should I get this car, should I get those jeans, or all of that has vanished, because it's not important at all.
Yeah.
Not to me anyway. I don't know about other people. Maybe it still is.
Yeah, and I mean, fair enough. And it's good that you realize it and you can focus now on the things that really matter to you.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, most likely you've done similar like I did and came clear about what is really important to you. So
yeah, definitely. And definitely COVID is kind of, it's been a real roller coaster. Having that extra time to think about what's important, and what's important to me is relationships with people, and having good relationships and spending quality time with people and having a laugh as well. And being able to share, nice moments and see nice things, and enjoy that nice piece of food, but without without feeling guilty afterwards.
I guess that's absolutely the level where we clicked, and that's life is too short, to always run around being sad. It's about having a good time, enjoying it, and being aware that it is unique in this moment. You should live it up, and making a joke and make people smile. That's what can be better than spreading positivity. Where this world seems to be, challenging and negative, and there's a lot of bad stuff going on. But I mean, what we can do is we can spread positivity with our emotions, with how we talk to people, how we appreciate things. And I guess, the earlier you understand that it's your impact.
And I think that's where you and I really clicked, in that sort of. It was almost like looking in a mirror in a way. Like I kind of, I saw you, and it was really your kindness and your humor to me. I was like, oh, that guy's just like me, or he's like a guy that I want to hang out with. And that was love at first sight, really.
Yeah, agree. And it's wonderful to realize that, as you grow older, and as some of your pals from school or old friends, they move into another direction, there's always new people, like you. And it's so enriching to have a chat and, to receive a text on a Monday morning, and that someone you are not thinking about is cheering you up and sending you just, some funny videos or stuff,
or like a random song, like, let's get your week going, like with some like rock anthems. It's like, here you go, this will get you fired up.
Exactly. And I mean, that I appreciate it, so I really it cheers me up. And that's what I guess the big specialty in life is. I mean, if you do that for other people, I mean, destiny will return the favor. And so being optimistic and positive to me is the best thing, because it rewards me over and over.
I guess we have to, thank technology for that a little bit, because without, without all of the advancements over the past sort of 10 years in technology, you and I, we wouldn't be able to have this conversation or start this relationship.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, see how natural it is to hop on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
You're what 3,000 miles up north, east, northwest,
So,
north. Just on an island, and it's still easy to have a chat.
a lot of people forget that. They forget a lot, all the time, that we are on an island. We are
Yeah,
islanders.
yeah.
People in the UK tend not to eat fish that much. Can you believe that? We're like the only island nation in the world where we don't really like fish. We're like, nah, nah. Oh, you're gonna put it in batter and have it with chips and yeah, chips and gravy. That sounds great, but
Yeah.
not like when you go down to Spain and you have you ever been down to Malaga? You walk along the front there, and they have these metal boat-shaped barbecues. They're
Hmm.
massive. They're about as big as a small car,
Hmm.
and they just have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of like smoked sardines.
Yeah.
My mouth is watering. Like I can
Yeah.
smell it.
Yeah. Fish dishes is something very, very nice. I also like being somewhere in the Caribbean, and the big lobsters that they uh, take from the sea floor, and put them just a little bit of garlic and a little bit of butter,
Butter,
and it's
yeah.
that freaking tasty. So
Speaking of food again, one of the best ever steaks that I had was in Berlin.
really.
Yeah, I went to a steakhouse with my wife in Berlin last time we were there. I think it was 2018, and we went to like Berlin Zoo, and we accidentally we hired like an Airbnb, and we didn't realize, but we hired it in the middle of like the gay area in Berlin.
Mhm.
So when we left the apartment, the street, it had like beautiful shops that were almost like a winery, but like it had like a living room in it that you could go in, and it felt like you were going into somebody's home.
Mhm.
And they had shelves there, and you could sit there and have like some cheese and some wine and stuff like that and some meats. But almost every other door was like a bondage shop.
Yeah.
There was like insane rubber masks and all sorts of crazy things going on. I remember walking down the street. I was like, "Huh, babe, did you know that where this Airbnb is that you've booked us?" She was like, "Oh yeah," like she googled it, and we were
Now
right.
it all makes sense.
We were right in the thick of it.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, I mean, food all over the world is a big topic, and
Mm.
it's actually too much that I can recall now. I mean, every country has its specialties.
What what
Um,
is um what is your specialty? Like, do you have a regional specialty? Where are you from? You're from Hamburg, no? Is
yeah,
that
right.
yeah?
Down here, there's plenty of fish, which is typical to Hamburg, as Hamburg has the biggest port in Germany. And well, the most typical dish, there's a fish roll that is very typical here in Hamburg. So you have any kind of fish in some sort of gravy or whatever, and then put it in a roll and have it with some onions. Um,
Okay, so when you say in a roll, you mean like in bread, like a sandwich?
mhm.
Okay, so it's fish in gravy with the onions in bread. That
Yeah,
sounds nice. So
yeah.
the fish, is it like a white fish? Is it smoked, or is it
Mhm. Either smoked, marinated,
okay?
stuff like that.
Okay.
And so most of them come in a sour marinade, I'd say.
Hmm.
So
So is it
yeah, I
hot? Is
guess
it hot when you eat it, or is it
no,
cold?
it's
It's
it's cold.
cold.
It's cold,
Oh,
yeah.
and
And so
and
basically, you can get it. I mean, there's a fish market, very famous fish market here in Hamburg. I mean, it's a tourist thing to come after a party night at 4 or 5 a.m. the next morning to that spot, and where all the hawkers are trying to sell their fish right from, I mean, more or less from the trawlers, and it's really good quality
that's
and
super
fresh fish.
fresh. Super
And
fresh.
exactly what to do is, I mean, it's the best hangover cure actually. They slice a roll, put a piece of fish in it, some onions, and there you go. For a couple of euros, you have your cure right there, and
Sounds
they sell
nice.
everything. I mean, ale and salmon and whatnot, anything that can get from the north, from the Atlantic or wherever in the world. No, we are a port city, and it's a lot about fish and yeah, I'd say the cuisine here is pretty healthy, basically.
I
It's
I
not, yeah.
I also live in a port town, and this place used to be the largest port in the whole of the United Kingdom, like a very long time ago, like 500 years ago or something.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's still got a big port now, but I don't see any fish or anything like that coming in here. I think that must be going somewhere else.
Yeah.
There are a couple of smaller fish boats, but those guys. I think they're out way too early. Like I don't see them.
Yeah.
I see the empty boats, but I don't see anything coming off them.
I guess most of the big fish lives far away from the coast lately.
Yeah,
So and well, that's another topic that also in Baltic Sea is getting more difficult from year to year. That the quota to fish, I mean, if you are into fishing, is steadily decreased. And nowadays, you can, if you are into fishing and you just want to, put your rod in, what you're allowed to take out of the sea is 2 fish or something
yeah.
for hobby fisher, and that actually shows how dramatic the situation is
Mm.
with the vast exploitation of the sea.
But the small guy taking 2 fish out is not going to make any difference, even if you have like 100 of those guys all
I
taking
know,
2 fish out in a
that's the
day.
irony.
That's nothing compared to the
Big
super
trawlers,
mega
yeah.
trawlers that like just
Mhm.
scrape the but just take
And you see them
everything
on the
out.
horizon, they have the licenses and they can, fish like crazy. And the other guys with the little fishing boats, they, have to put the fish back in.
I know it might hurt a lot of people, but I think it would be a really good idea if worldwide we just hold off just for 5 years, or
Mhm.
just 5 years, not even 10.
Yeah.
Just say, okay, worldwide, everybody stops fishing just for 5 years. We just see what happens,
Mhm.
see how quickly they can all come back, and then they need a break. I mean,
Yeah.
one thing that freaks me out about eating fish. Now, I love eating fish; they're delicious. My friend Adrian, yo, 80, he hates fish. He will not eat fish at all. But I love it. I eat fish every day, and the thing that freaks me out about it is that have you ever been to an aquarium
Yeah.
and you see some of these fish that almost look human? They have like human style features. Their faces are a little bit
Mhm.
more human than the average fish. And
Mhm.
then if you're to believe everything about evolution and we came from the ocean and stuff like that, I just feel like if we eat like a whole population of fish, we might be eating like a whole race of beings like millions of years
Mhm.
from now. I don't know, it just creeps me out, like thinking in that sort of scale.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, exploitation on seafood and fish is pretty dramatic, I guess, lately. But also the meat production and all different kind of vast industries where food is produced really just for the
Mm.
purpose of feeding people. And I like your idea that, say 5 years, we just stop.
Yeah.
As I mean,
just
thinking
eat
back of
just eat
the,
something else for five
yeah,
years It's
yeah.
nobody out there is addicted to fish. Like it's
Mm.
not, you're not addicted to it. You can take it or leave it. Like
Mhm.
there might be fish restaurants and fishermen and a whole fish industry, people who just be like, hey, what are you talking about? F you. Like I need these fish, I need to feed my family. But we're just it's either you take a small break now, or you know 10-20 years from now there ain't gonna be no fish for anybody.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah, agree. And it's interesting that you say to give a pause to a certain vegetation or to a habit, because I mean, looking all the way back to Middle Ages here in Germany, what I recall is the farmers here in Germany very long ago realized that if they leave their field idle every fourth year,
mm,
it recovers so much that the crops in the coming years will be still plenty. And I mean, that is really smart. Why don't you give certain industries that are about to be extinct a break to recover?
Yeah.
Um,
And like obviously I think mammals might need a little bit longer. Birds will need a little bit of less time. Fish I think populate really really quickly.
mhm,
But yeah, just give things a breather. Like if you keep putting pressure on things, they're going to break.
mhm,
Just give it a little rest. And yeah, maybe the fish industry people could go and do something else and still get the same sort of pay. Maybe they could I don't know, like I'm talking like an absolute idiot right now, but maybe they could just find somewhere to like plant trees locally and still get paid for it. So instead of however they get paid per pound or kilo of fish, maybe they
mhm,
get paid per plant that they've planted or something like
mhm.
that. And
Yeah, it's a good idea. And what I just think of right now is I've got a good friend, and he now tries to promote honeybush tea from South Africa, which is very close to rooibos tea. It's
red
related
bush,
to that. Yeah.
yeah, I like that.
And so what they do is actually they also help the local communities to get a fair share on the tea price and all that. And I guess in the end, to make it really sustainable, it's not only that we take care that we are not exploiting it, but also to get the money to the people who have the hardest work on it, and not just the middleman makes all the money and squeezes
Mm,
the little farmers or whoever. So it has to be justice, and to me I hope in the end that the society right now is also cautious and aware that exploiting our planet and the people on a social level will in the end turn against us, because then there will be no more people who are producing food, and it will be just conglomerates who run the world, and we get all very, very dependent. So,
yeah. I think in some ways we're almost there, aren't we? Like if you look at how dependent we are, or we've become on services like Amazon, to fulfill Christmas shopping or last minute
mhm,
things, or maybe you don't have time to go out to the small business or the shop to look for what you need. It's so easy and accessible just to pick your phone up and go, done. Like 10 seconds later, it's on its way. It's going to be here tomorrow. No big deal. You can wait a day.
mhm,
Yeah. And then you look at how everything is structured there in that company, and how quickly we went from high streets to out of town retail parks to everything closing down because nobody needs any of those things. Everything's online. You can just order it online and it gets dropped off.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, it's a challenging time. But yeah, I mean, talking about challenges, what have been the biggest challenge in your year this far?
Okay. So always my biggest challenge is my weight. My own personal challenge is like managing my Labrador style hunger. I want to eat everything all the time, compared to looking in the mirror and feeling depressed about, oh, what have I done? How many biscuits did I eat this week? Yeah. So my biggest personal challenge has been managing my weight. So I did return to the gym, um, but then I stopped going again because I let work get in the way. Got stressed out a little bit with work, and working all hours and not really having a break at all. So the first real break that I had this year was when I went down to Essex the other week. You remember I said that I went to go see my mate Andy,
Yeah.
and that was great just to get away, even for 1 or 2 days or just one night, just to have some beers and have a catch up. And
Mhm.
I did miss, I missed my family, and I missed the wife and kids. But it was cool. Like it was nice to go on the train and see some more people, see,
Yeah.
and to kind of go through London as well to get there. So that was really cool. But Yeah, I think my biggest challenge personally this year has been physical health and mental health. And I think
Hmm.
I've done really, really well with like mental health and keeping on track with that. And I,
Hmm.
I think that started right at the beginning of the year. I think you know I think I was going through some not really impactful like things that should affect me, directly. So like it wasn't things that were happening presently,
Hmm.
but it was like relationships with people that I hadn't seen for many, many years, that then dragged up like old demons, like,
Hmm.
resurrected them. And then I was questioning myself and questioning things. And there was a lot of like difficult emotions to deal with. So getting help for that and talking about that sort of thing and going to the doctors was that was good. And then
Hmm.
looking after physical health is a big part of that. So like going walking, taking in nature, finding time for myself, like
Hmm.
recognizing the signs of when things aren't going too well, to remember to take a break, time for myself, as well as giving all my time to my family or to my colleagues. So I think looking after myself has been a challenge this year, but I think I've done great. I think, I feel better and stronger, and more steady mentally than ever before.
Hmm.
And yeah, I've got a renewed goal, which is probably the wrong time to have a goal regarding weight around Christmas time. But yeah, I started drinking Huel again, not a sponsor. So yeah, I'm doing like a Huel diet. So, having a couple of Huels a day and
Hmm.
watching, what I'm eating, making sure I'm not having too many snacks, not snacking at all, really, avoiding chocolate at all costs, and avoiding biscuits and crisps and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, and then I bought myself some weights, and yeah, I'm gonna get back to the gym because I
So you're
started.
now weightlifting every morning.
Yes. Oh, I've got them downstairs. So yeah, I'm going to be doing the weightlifting every morning
Sweet.
when I go up, going for walks, and then hitting the gym. I'm probably going to end up being a weekend warrior,
Mhm.
because I think that's all I can do.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see. I mean, I think my goal for next year, I don't want to jump ahead, but one goal I have for next year is to get up earlier,
Mhm.
and to get up like no later than 5 a.m. I think I
Mhm.
want to start getting up at 5
All
a.m.
right.
Yeah,
Sounds great.
taking some time for myself. So yeah, I think that was the biggest challenge. Um, what other challenges have I had? I guess trying to keep on top of work has been, work has been really difficult
Mhm.
this year, especially because there's always so much administrative political BS that gets thrown at you
Mhm.
all the time. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, I think everybody has gone a bit soft in a way, and people are quick to complain about small things without thinking about how they can solve issues themselves. And a
Mhm.
lot of people are not very good at taking accountability for their own actions as well. And I'm including students and staff in that. And so that people are quick to blame other people when things go wrong, and that's not cool. Like, you should be
Mhm.
able to have the cojones to to say, oh well, this isn't going the way I hoped, or these last minute changes affected me. Well, what can I do to make it better, instead of saying, oh well, it's his fault.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah,
so,
it's a good point. I mean,
yeah,
it's a really good point, especially because I figured that this year, I mean, my biggest realization was it has to be all in a balance. Yeah, you
yeah,
have to balance it. And so, speaking of such, I mean, you can't ask for credit or be rewarded or being clapped on if you can't take the responsibility for your things that you didn't perform well in. Yeah,
yeah,
it's not always about getting all the fame and being cheered up and what a cool guy you are. If when something happens, you are not taking the responsibility to say, yeah, okay, it went wrong, and
Yeah.
I take full responsibility. And
I've had to do
same,
that a few times this year. Like,
yeah,
something that something that I've realized is that the work that you do is never over. Like, there's always more work to do. So don't get stressed out when you don't finish things on time, because there's always tomorrow.
mm-hmm.
As far as you're aware, and the work never ends. But also, the most important lesson that I could offer anybody is, if you screw up, if you mess up, just admit it and just say, yeah, I'm sorry, like, how can I be better next time?
Yeah,
That's super important.
yeah,
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 it
totally
makes
agree.
life a lot easier, like, if you
Yeah,
have that attitude. If you don't look for a way to blame other people, if you take accountability and take responsibility and say, yeah, I screwed up, I made a mistake, I admit it, I'm sorry, and then, you know say, okay, how do you want me to behave or act, or how do you want me to complete this task different in the future? And I think that earlier on in the year, because of the stats, because of the impact of COVID, my course that I run went into a status called intervention, which meant that I had to have extra meetings with my line manager. And initially, I was really angry about that. I was like, they're not taking COVID into account. Like, I was getting really angry. I was like, this is going to be a massive waste of time. Like, I have to have these extra meetings now. And then I after a while, I realized that there was no problem. Like, it was my mindset that was the problem. And as soon as I changed my mind and I realized that the meetings that I was having with my boss were actually helping the course and helping me and helping the students, and those meetings were really good for my motivation and good for keeping me on track, as soon as it didn't take long, like, it was about 3 weeks in, I was like, actually, I'm really grateful for these meetings.
mm-hmm.
When it came to the point where we don't have to have those meetings anymore, I was like, oh no, damn, like, I need those meetings. Like, they help me stay on track, they help me keep organized.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was all about my mindset, and
mm-hmm.
realizing that it was actually good for, not for me, but for the course. Like, it was good for the whole situation in general.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead, man. I interrupted you.
No, I mean, yeah, it's all good. This is exactly what we're trying to do here, right?
Yeah.
Sharing our experiences and trying to help people to get in inspiration, and probably make sense of something that they haven't thought about before. And yeah, to me, I guess the biggest challenge this year was also to find balance. And I haven't found it yet. I have to admit,
Okay.
it's still, I know what I should be doing,
Yeah. So,
and
what's stopping you?
I guess what is stopping me is that I haven't really came to a point where I can really break down to one goal of each of the different areas in life, and then, have this vision, what I want to achieve, and then prioritize my time and dedicate it to the different things equally. Because I mean, out of my passion and what I see my biggest impact in, I focus too much on two or three things, and the rest is left behind. And I know that
Yeah.
isn't that right. And in the end, it will not pay off, because I mean, I will get exhausted in the fields that I contribute so much.
So,
Um,
what areas are you focusing in the most?
I mean, with all these amazing realizations about me and my character, I want to, spread that positivity that is in me that I
Yeah.
found, and that energy. I want to let go. I want to, help as many people as possible with that energy. And
So,
it's so rewarding, because it's endorphins flushing my body, and it feels so good. But on the same time, I know that I'd be lacking other things. I mean,
so,
sports.
okay. So you put in a lot of energy into the area that makes you feel good. So it's almost like your career, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
almost like that. You're helping other people, which is very
yeah,
rewarding. So what is it that you're neglecting? It's sports, you said. What else?
yeah.
What else are you
Sports.
neglecting?
I guess.
Same as me. Sports.
Yeah,
We always put that on the
pretty
back
much.
burner.
Pretty much. And I mean, I've been very conscious, and one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to really become more aware of what I'm eating and try to do more sports. and I achieved it in a way, but what I was lacking, and that still is my challenge, and I have to really write it down and make confessions. What do I want to achieve? Because if there's no goal, no vision, then it's really hard to stay motivated because you don't see your progress towards that one goal. And for instance, I mean, having the idea of losing a little bit of weight, but not doing it for the sake of losing weight, but more becoming, get into shape again, and doing more sports, knowing that, it's good for my body. And so I was jogging, running through the forest and stuff. I was taking my bicycle to work. I've been doing it here and there, but without any focus. And I guess that kept me away from having any success moments, or now, looking back saying, oh yeah, I achieved my goal. I achieved my New Year's resolution because it was so unclear. And that is a big learning, because
so you needed a smart target.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It has to be smart. It has to be achievable. It has to be something that really also matches my life and fits in. Because otherwise, if it's, something that you wish to be, but there's no time, no capacity, no nothing, you'll not achieve it.
Yeah. If it's too pie in the sky, it has to fit your life, doesn't it? So like, earlier on in the year, I went jogging as well. And I think I went 3 times. And then I was like, the first time it rained, or as it started to get dark or something, I was like, nah, I'm out. Or it was cold, I think. I was like, nah, I'm done. So for me, that didn't work. So I know what works for me, and what works for me is lifting weights and doing that, and indoors, and also cycling as well. So and that was really cool. Earlier this year, I fixed my bike a couple of months ago. There was they had a guy come in to work, a guy called Dr. Bike, and you just bring your bike in, and he fixed it for free. So he fixed my bike, and then after that, I was cycling for a couple of months, and then it was a couple of weeks ago, I went to pump up my back tire, and the valve got stuck after I put the tire up. So I pulled it, and I pulled the valve off, and I was like, no. And I haven't got around to fixing it, but this is the week, because I've got the replacement inner tube. Like, I'm ready to get back on that bike. I missed that. So So
it's interesting. Very often, I mean, it's the little things that keeps us away. And I just learned this 20-second rule. Yeah. So all that you try to achieve and all that you want to do shouldn't be too complicated to get it started. Yeah. So the 20-second rule is have it in reach, and make the things that you try to avoid as difficult to do, put them in a locker somewhere. So I'm trying that now.
So so how does the 20-second rule work? So if there's something that I'm trying to avoid, make sure that it's at least 20 seconds out of reach, because it's too much effort for me to expend. Is that it?
Pretty much. It's about what you should do is all the things that you want to get changed. For instance, say you want to do more sports. Put your weights where you can find them easily and have no excuse to find them. And then on the other hand side, if you want to stay away from snacks, or
don't buy them,
put it in a drawer and into something that is really difficult to open and stuff like that. So
that it used to work really, really well for me before I met my wife. That if I wanted to avoid snacks, I just wouldn't buy them. They wouldn't be in the house at all. But she is a snack fiend. Like, there is a whole cupboard dedicated to snacks just for her. And I'm like, oh, babe, please just stop buying these things. Like, it's really, really hard for me. I have no self-control. And like, as soon as it's there, I'm like, no.
Yeah. And I mean,
and then her hobby, it hurts me, because she loves to bake. Like, so she's baking all these delicious things. I'm like, well, I need to get rid of this stuff. Like, stop baking cakes.
But I guess if something, and that's something that I learned also from the Power MBA, actually, from the module 4, where they talk about leadership and leading self, and setting goals not, the smart formula way, yeah, that it has to be specific and measurable and all that, but
Yeah.
it has to be, I mean, the thing that they put first is it sexy enough to achieve? Because
Okay.
if it's not, it doesn't mean enough to you. And then there's no purpose of trying to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
It has to be attractive to you, and you have to emotionally want it to happen, because if you don't really want it, you will suck at achieving it. So, and that's interesting because I knew this formula that it has to be specific and measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, and that's rather the business economist approach, I guess, to achieve goals. But that was so much more human, as it was, yeah, including also the emotions, and we are so emotion driven. Even if we pretend to be rational individuals. Our emotions shoot first, and our rationality tries to make sense of it. And that's a big learning that I had this year, because what I learned is I can't really change or fake my emotions. They are there, they will react as they are. But what I can do is I can become aware of what my emotions are, and then if I want to behave differently, think about what is the strategy to change my behavior. How can I differently approach this topic? And there's techniques that I'm just learning to be more self-controlled, and knowing about my emotions. I try to have more options how to react to these emotions.
Yeah. I think, yeah, for me, one of the things that I've tried to do is introduce or put in place a a time barrier between responding to things. So sometimes my emotions would lead, particularly if somebody sent me an email that had upset me, um, very quick to just shoot one back. But actually, what I tend to do now is just wait and leave it, or make sure that I'm not reading my emails at different times of the day, so that there's a bit of time between the receipt of the email and the sending back.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've put in place strategies to help better manage relationships at work, mostly
Mhm.
around about email, because sometimes for me, I can misconstrue messages, or I'm a lot better than I used to be, but yeah, in the past I would often get the wrong meaning behind things and misinterpret what people were saying.
Yeah.
So I recognize that as a weakness in myself, and put things in place
Mhm.
to make sure that that doesn't affect me anymore.
Yeah, yeah, great. And that's very similar to what I'm discovering. And I realize that if something makes me really angry, I have to, and I'm about to shout or whatever.
Yeah,
You take your breath, and
yeah,
instead of shouting, realize that you are so full of anger, but don't let go. Don't use that air to shout. Use
yeah,
it wisely, and
yeah.
let go in three uh, portions, and it will relax you so much. And so I'm trying that one now. If somebody's really challenging me or
If
opposing.
if it's like say in the past, like a student might have said something or written something, or something that something that you should, or that you would normally, your gut instincts would be to be offended by. um Now what I always remember whenever a student says something is they're just a child, and they don't really know what's going on, and they're just trying to figure out and test boundaries. And I think since becoming a parent and having a toddler, I've gained so much patience for teenagers.
Mhm.
Because I can go, yeah, they're not much older, really. I mean, they're between 16 and 19, but still they haven't figured anything out yet. And
Mhm.
I'm still figuring stuff out now at 40. Like, I'm definitely a lot better than I was 10 years ago, and way more better than I was when I was 20. And I just look at like how much responsibility these kids have at
Mhm.
18. They can drink, they can drive, they could go to war if they wanted, they can vote. And I just think, man, are they even ready for like most of those things? I'm not sure. Like, I don't want to hold anyone back, but um yeah, whenever somebody says something stupid, I just go, they're they're just a child, like on the inside. They're still
Yeah.
figuring stuff out. And that having that perspective really changed how I take things.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I guess talking about challenges, I guess another challenge, and it's very much related to that, um, there's so much distraction and so many things that we could hop on and be interested in. And knowing what really matters to you, I mean, now talking about your values again a little bit, gives you so much direction and helps you to stay away from the distraction and makes you focus on things. And it's so much more rewarding knowing that you don't have to, be on TikTok as well and have to be on that next thing that is trending. Knowing what works for you and why you do it, towards what emotion or goal that you're doing it. I haven't had this eagerness or straightforwardness when I was 20. Sure, I wasn't. But learning that and trying to make sense of it and adapting it to my life and staying focused on things that matter to me or have in a way a reward to the goals that I'm trying to achieve, that gives me clarity and peace of mind, actually.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah. You can't this is like an old saying, but like without a target, if you don't aim for something, you're not going to hit anything. You're never going to hit anything. So having targets, and I guess what we're almost verging on talking about now is New Year's resolutions or targets for next year. So have you got any targets for 2022?
Well, I had one for 2021.
Or taking it away from being personal to you, have you got any ideas for people for things that they should focus on?
I mean, what I was trying for 2021 was to get better in Spanish. And I realized that I really hadn't had any target. So what I'm doing now is, I mean, even though I've learned almost every day, I set myself a target to reach a certain new level. That's something that I do well for, 5 to 10 minutes a day. And I see now that it had built up so much this year, even though I haven't had any goal. But next year I want to, make it really clear and set a target what to reach. And I'm trying this also on different things, especially now, on health. I try to come up with a goal that works for me, because going to the gym very often is challenging. Say, if you have appointments, there's plenty of things that you can say that you have that you can't allow yourself to go there. If you don't, it hadn't had any big importance to me because I was healthy and fine. So, but not challenging myself too much and doing things that don't work well. I now try to have a good goal to achieve, especially on health.
How often do you plan on going to the gym?
Well, I guess gym is not the right thing for me.
Okay.
Because,
how often do you plan on exercising? Once a day?
And that's a big question because I if I had the time or if I could really make the time
half an hour a day?
Yeah, I'd say every second day at least for 45 minutes, whatever it is. I guess I would do it this way because then I would.
What about every day for 22 and a half minutes?
22 and a half minutes.
Every day.
Yeah. There could be something.
Because that way it takes out any thought about is today the day that I meant to do it? Did I do it yesterday? Yeah. You know that if you're alive and you're breathing and it's a day, you have to do it that day.
Yeah, you're right.
Keep it simple. Also, we could be each other's accountability buddies. Yeah.
Mm.
So I keep you accountable, you keep me accountable. And every day, we talk most days anyway. So I'll be like, hey, yo, Patrick, you done your workout today? And you can be
How
like,
many
hey,
lifts
Paul,
did you weigh?
yeah. Well, you bench now, bro. Do you even lift? You even lift, dog?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds great.
we could do that, and we could keep each other accountable. And
Yeah.
this time next year, maybe we go on do like a topless podcast.
Yeah. We are all muscle packed then. Yeah.
Protein,
Yeah.
do it, no
That's
pain,
great.
no gain, no pain, no gain.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, we set a health goal for both of us.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
idea.
And then we're both accountable,
Yeah.
like, just to keep the other person on track, not to
Yeah.
pester them, not to just, but just to be like, I don't know, as simple as sending the bicep emoji, just
That's
something like
yeah.
that, just to say, hey dude, have you done this today?
Yeah. And I guess that's where most people lack motivation because they are just accountable to themselves. And
Yeah,
if you are not really 100% um, blessed with self-esteem and know how precious your life is and all that, it's easy to give in and it's easy to,
yeah,
let go of good habits. But if there's somebody else you feel responsible towards, then sure, it's a bigger gap to
yeah.
let go.
It doesn't have to be a big thing. Like, you could easily get in a little workout like in 20 minutes. But yeah, anyway, we can talk about that more like
Yeah,
another
we,
time.
we do
So
that.
so what other kind of goals are you thinking? My biggest goal, because I've got sort of like the next 15 days off, or something like that. I think it's about 15, 16 days. I go back on the 5th of January.
Mhm.
My biggest goal between now and then is to tie up my loose ends with work stuff. So I have like a couple of things that I need to mark and organize, and I have a little bit of prep to do for next year. But I
Mhm.
also want to develop a plan for the podcast for the coming year,
Mhm.
and tighten that up, and tighten up the focus, and make a regular schedule as well for publishing the videos.
Mhm.
So those are some of my goals, and also for the Power MBA, I'm also, at the minute I've only completed module 1. I'm
Mhm.
so far behind you. Like, you're talking about module 4, and I'm like, damn, I need to get a move on. Like, I really let
Yeah.
it slip this month because work was
Yeah.
so hectic and I was so tired. Um, so yeah, that's something that I'm gonna go back to, having a timetable for my day, because what
Mhm.
is it, 168 hours a week or something? 160, yeah, 168 hours in a week, I think. 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
um yeah, I need to make it work for me. I need to
Mhm.
have a bit more schedule. I need to watch less YouTube. I need to get off my ass. Do
Yeah, but
things.
I'm in a similar situation, and what might be different for me now is that I at least know that going all the way back and knowing what is important to me, because I know what my core values are and what I want to achieve, or at least I have to have an idea, but I have to really tie it up and make sense of the goal for next year. It gives me really a direction. And so the things that really matter to me, they matter to me so much that I don't sit and Netflix. And I focus on the things because I know I want to achieve them and it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
And my biggest challenge, I guess, and also the newest resolution for 22 will be being more self-aware and create a balance between all the different areas in life that matter to me,
Mm.
because I haven't reached that yet. This year was a roller coaster, but I'm glad to understood that it's all about the balance in the end. And only if you are balanced, all the challenges that are thrown at you, you will overcome them because you have so many areas that already work pretty well. And if one or two things don't work well, or they really challenge you, still the ratio between the good and the bad is much more positive.
Mm.
And So this, I guess, it all comes back from values to goals and then to objectives and small milestones that take me there.
Yeah, it's like the yin yang, finding the balance between the dark and the
Mhm.
light, or finding the balance between relaxing and working, family time, working out, yeah. That is something that I've struggled with in the past, but luckily my wife is pretty vocal, and she goes,
Mhm.
"You're working too hard. Like, you need to go and you need to go and take some time off for yourself, or oh, you're not spending enough time with us, or you're spending too much time with us. You need to get out of here and go do some work."
Yeah,
She keeps me on track, like, which is good.
yeah.
I need that in my
So
life.
if I were Santa, okay, so what was it if if you had a wish, okay, from Santa for next year, what is it that you want? I mean, it doesn't have to be materialistic, but maybe,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Um, ooh, um, okay, and anything could happen. I I would like to I would like to be fit enough to do any sort of activity and not get out of breath really easily. I think that's the one. Like, my cardiovascular is like zero right now. I took a walk the other day and I got a stitch, and I was like, oh, what? I've been spending too much time on the computer. I was like, no. Um, yeah, I think I want to lose weight and
mhm.
feel good about myself, and probably get into like an XL size shirt, or a large or something like that, and just like look in the mirror and go, "Oh yeah, boy, you did it!" Like, that would be it. That would be it.
Okay. So
That's it.
you're as your fitness accountability partner right here,
Yeah.
and also as Santa, telling you we got to make it happen.
Let's do it.
Um, we do a competition. We start on January 1st with one crunch and one push up, and
Okay.
every day we make them one more.
Okay. So we should be able to do 365 by the end of the year.
Exactly. So
Okay.
in 1 year's time, it will be 360 something. Yeah, almost 300 or 50, 350 next December 20th.
Okay.
Um, and that's what we try to achieve.
Okay. So I will remember this date, because this date is my mate's birthday, December the 20th.
All
Okay.
right.
Easy to remember for me. So
Sweet.
we are going to record ourselves this time next year on this date in 2022.
And
Um,
see how many muscles we have gained
yes.
and how
Okay.
many crunches we can do and how many push ups.
So we should be able to do 350 push-ups and 350 crunches.
Yes.
Okay. That's it. You
So we're
heard it.
starting off easy,
Yeah,
one by one.
you heard it here first. That's the goal. That's what we're gonna
All
do.
right. We make it.
Yeah. So what have you got planned for the rest of the day? Um,
Well, I guess fetching my kids from kindergarten,
okay.
seeing friends,
How much
and
time have you got?
I got another 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. Let me hit you with some action questions.
Yeah.
Okay, quick fire round. Patrick Grossman. Woo. Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Bring it on.
Who stars as young Professor X in X-Men First Class?
I'm bad on names.
James McAvoy.
All right.
Which 1999 film stars Will Smith as James West?
Oh man, I'm bad at names.
Wild Wild West.
Ooh,
In
wow.
what film does Harrison Ford star as Dr. Richard Kimball? The Fugitive.
The Fugitive.
Yeah. Which actor starred as Mr. Miyagi in the 2010 remake of The Karate Kid?
No clue.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
Which
Yeah.
actor which actor tragically died during the filming of The Crow?
Yep, I got no clue.
Brandon Lee.
Okay.
Which film?
I guess I'm really bad at that game.
Yeah, what's happening? Which film by N. Night Shyamalan stars Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson as unlikely superheroes?
No clue.
God, Unbreakable.
Unbreakable. I guess I also have to put watching some more of the classical movies on my list then.
Yeah. That, oh man, I can't believe it. What is your what would be your mastermind subject? Like what would it be that you know the most about?
Yeah, I mean, I don't spend too much time watching any movies.
Okay.
I mean, I could have a good laugh on comedy movies
Okay.
or comedy sitcoms. Um, and well, a little bit of drama or that kind of movies. But I'm really bad at recalling the names of the actors and even the topics of the. I mean, I can remember what the movie's all about, but I'm not good at recalling either the name or the actors. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, man.
Okay. But you can ask me any capital in the world, and I guess I'm good at that.
Okay. What's the capital of the Republic of Ireland?
Dublin.
Yeah, and do, do you know do you know Europe's fastest growing city?
Europe's fastest growing city. That's not a capital.
Yeah, Europe's fastest growing capital city. What is it?
Maybe something like Porto.
No, it's Dublin because it keeps doubling and doubling and doubling.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I also suck on geography.
Would you like to hear an interesting fact?
Yeah.
It's probably not that interesting, but I'll tell you anyway.
Okay.
The word Dublin, it comes from the old Irish Gaelic word dove lin, which means black water,
Mhm.
yeah, or black pool. So basically, when the Vikings came up the River Liffey, the water there was darker, and that's where they settled, and they called it Black Pool, and then that
Mhm.
became Dove Lin, and then that became Dublin. And then the place that I spent the other part of my life in was called Blackpool in the northwest of England. So
Okay.
I spent the first part of my life living in Dublin, and then I spent my 20s and 30s living in Blackpool, which was also Dublin.
Okay.
And and that's just weird, isn't it? That like both of those places, they have the same name, but they're just in different languages. And those
Okay.
are the places that I lived in. That's weird.
So have you actually thought about going somewhere to the Black Sea or to
Ooh,
some other
yeah,
black?
some other black water related places. Yeah. Well, at the moment, I live in a small town called Kings Lynn,
Mhm.
which means King's Water. And before it was Kings Lynn, it became um, it was Lynn Regis because it was going to become the Royal Lynn.
Mhm.
And before that, it was Bishop's Lynn, Bishop's Water.
Mhm.
Would you mind having a pint of Bishop's Water?
Yeah. Rejuvenates you for 20 years. Yeah. That's great. So
Well, go ahead.
have you finished up on all your resolutions and all that stuff that you want to achieve next year? Actually, is there anything that you say,
I think
I tried this year, but I haven't had the time or not the energy to do it?
I think next year, I would like to be a more professional teacher. I know that sounds like I know that sounds maybe that sounds like I haven't been doing a good job this year, but I know that I have. But I just think that I could do better next year,
Mhm.
and I think that I
Less
could
falling asleep during classes, less
not
swearing.
not that really. I think that sometimes I let my dress code, I'm a bit slack with that sometimes.
Mhm.
So I think that maybe this year I could definitely go for looking smart every single day.
Wearing pants
um
again.
no, definitely not going to wear pants. No, I think I'll continue to wear black jeans.
All right.
I don't think I'm going to wear trousers. I don't like how they feel. Like I'm not gonna be uncomfortable for a whole year just to
Mhm.
please somebody else. But I think I can wear. I think I could wear a shirt every day. I'm not sure about a tie, but I think that's part of it. And putting on the suit or putting on the outfit is part of getting into the mentality of
Mhm.
being, in that environment. And I think establishing better boundaries with not so much colleagues, but definitely with students. Because I'm quite a friendly guy. A lot of the students they want to be my friend,
Mhm.
which is sometimes a problem. Like, and then if you suddenly hit them with some sort of criticism or feedback, they're like, "Oh, what? You meant to be my mate," and I'm like, "No, I'm not your friend. I'm your teacher. Like, it's
Mhm.
different. Just because I'm a friendly guy doesn't mean that I'm your friend." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so yeah, I think being more professional, being more prepared, um, doing my marking on time. That's something that I've struggled with the past
Mhm.
12 months. So yeah, just sort of tightening everything up at work. Um, I think that getting up earlier is going to help me do that. Getting up at
Mhm.
5 a.m. every morning is going to give me that extra time to get into the right frame of mind for work. So I think if I do that, then a lot of other things will fall into place as
Mhm.
well.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
What?
I mean, I'm looking very much forward to our Make Me Sexy Again challenge.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Make this body great again. Is
yeah,
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 that's the
yeah,
challenge. That's
yeah.
in fact, I'll put something together. Like
Okay.
you leave it
Something
with me.
like build that muscle.
Yeah. Instead of build a wall, it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, build that six pack, build
yeah.
that six pack.
Oh man, that reminds me that for a long time I've got this little sound machine here in my
Yeah.
closet, and it's called the fitness machine.
Okay.
It has all that stuff that we need, man.
Yeah. Yes.
And I got plenty more of that. So I guess this machine will help us if motivation falls apart. And I'll tell you what that is in English later on.
So I have an album that I'll share with you after this, and let me just get the name of it. 1 second. Um,
And
okay,
I guess we also need a little bit of your dubstep and your drum and bass
it could
soundtracks
be,
there.
but from the year of my birth, from 1981, um, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Body Workout album. Have you heard it?
No,
Do you
but I
know this
pretty
album?
much know how he is.
Obviously, yeah, definitely. But yeah, we
Hasta la vista.
let me send you a link to this now, and then you can put it on because we can hear your we can hear your audio, but if I play it, we're not going to be able to hear my audio. Let me copy the album link. Send this across to Patrick.
I mean, just talking to you just now, I'm getting even better at people and movies. I
Yeah.
feel.
Oh, dude, like ask me anything about movies. I'll tell you. Like, no cheating. My hands are right here. Like, I won't Google search anything. Ask me
Who starred E.T.?
what the kid?
Yeah,
Elliot. Well, Thomas. Is Thomas something?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I can tell you what movies that kid later went on to go into. If that helps. I'm not very good with that kid's name, but I can tell you that Steven Spielberg directed it.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm sure that guy's name is Thomas something or other.
we gotta find out.
Let me see. E.T. Henry Thomas. That's
Yep.
his name. I knew it was Thomas something. Yeah, Henry Thomas. Yeah.
All right.
He was also in Gangs of New York afterwards. So, have you got WhatsApp there on your laptop? Have you got WhatsApp web?
Yeah, I got it. I just switched it off so all these people are not
Yeah.
bothering me while we have this important call right here.
You look so Christmassy.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it really. I mean, it's just 4 days,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
feel the
because
energy.
you do things a bit differently in Germany, don't you? You open your
Yeah,
presents on Christmas Eve.
yeah. We celebrate already in the afternoon of the 24th,
Yeah.
and
Why? Why is that?
it is because, I mean, in our belief, Jesus Christ was born that night. And instead of bringing presents the next day, just like, all the three holy kings did, I mean, they had their
Yeah.
presents and they gave it just
Yeah,
right
yeah.
after birth. And
Sure, sure.
so we don't wait until the next morning. We have this feast on the 24th in the evening, and then afterwards, usually Santa shows up and get the kids their presents.
Right. That sounds cool. Like I understand that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really nice. Um, what else do you do differently in Germany for Christmas?
Mm, I mean, what we usually have here is
Do you eat
most of the
turkey?
families.
Do you
Most of
eat?
the families they actually have their Christmas tree prepared 2 weeks up front and
Yeah.
and don't do it just the day of Christmas. And there's a tradition in some parts of Germany where they would just have a very small dish on the 24th, and then really have a big feast at midnight and stuff like that.
Oh wow. At
So they
midnight.
would just have, a potato salad and some sausages, a
Yeah.
very plain meal. But then some really do have a tradition that they eat around midnight, or similar to the UK, they have their big feast on the
On the
25th.
25th. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
then the
so
25th and the 26th are both off days, bank holidays.
yeah.
And but
Same here.
usually you just see your families during that 2 days
What
and
would
eat more and
be
more and more.
what would be the main meal that you would eat? Would it be turkey? Would you have turkey?
Some do have turkey. What we and my family lately had was either fondue, that where you stick all your meat
Yeah,
in this
in the
boiling
cheese.
pot of cheese, or simply some sort of butter, or a different kind of liquid. And what else we do have raclette, which is very Swiss style, where you have these little pans and you put all different kind of things on it, and then a little bit of cheese, and you stick it in that machine, and so it melts the cheese over whatever you put in. It's also pretty tasty.
Mm.
So it's, I mean, I guess the influence from the south are pretty strong here, or at least we celebrate it that way.
Yeah.
And how about you?
Yeah, so most people here would have a turkey roast dinner. So they would have Brussels sprouts, turkey, cranberry sauce, stuffing, sometimes in the turkey, sometimes stuffing balls or a loaf of stuffing. You definitely have like roast potatoes, honey parsnips, carrots and swede. Everybody has slight different variations. There's no sort of set standard roast. Some people would have Yorkshire puddings. Other people would think that that's ridiculous, that you wouldn't have a Yorkshire pudding on a Christmas dinner. It just depends. Not everybody will have turkey.
Mhm.
Some people might have beef. Some people might have ham. Some people might have pork, and some people might have all of them.
Mhm.
Like just there, so you can have a bit of everything. Some really lucky people. Some people don't make a Christmas dinner at all, and they would have like an Indian food or like
Mhm.
or a Chinese takeaway to
Mhm.
save like all the washing up and stuff and all the effort. um you would always have a Christmas pudding, which is like,
Mhm.
do you know that one, the ball, like the raisin, the very thick one, and you have like a
Yeah.
brandy sauce on top, and
Yeah.
you would have mince pies. as
Mhm.
well, and lots of chocolates like Ferrero Rocher
Mhm.
chocolates, that, or after eights and stuff like that. You'd always have gravy with it as well.
Mhm.
You would have mulled wine. Do you have mulled wine? Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
the hot one. Yeah, you'd have
Yep.
that, or red wine. Um, yeah, you'd basically just eat until you burst, like,
Mhm. Mhm.
or
I guess
until,
that we
yeah,
both have in common here.
yeah, or until you fall asleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on Christmas Eve, we tend not to open presents. Like, we have to wait until Christmas morning. But in some households and in ours, like, you were allowed to have one present for Christmas Eve. So like, when I was younger, it would be something like a new set of pajamas
Mhm.
and a new pair of slippers or something like that, so that you would go and you'd have your bath and then you get ready for bed and you're in the fresh clothes, and then the next morning you're looking good because you're in those clothes for opening the presents. But yeah, maybe you would have like a special small present that you would be too excited, so you give it to somebody that can open it, just one
Mhm.
present on Christmas
Mhm.
Eve, that sort of thing.
All
um
right.
but yeah, it's cool. And then Boxing Day is the 26th. That's just for chilling out and just trying to eat, trying to get through all those leftovers, trying to drink as much as you can.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I think it's different for us because we're kind of out in the sticks here by ourselves. But yeah, I think for most people it's a time for families to get
Mhm.
together. But for
Mhm.
us, it's just gonna be us, me and the wife and the two girls. So we're
Yeah.
very excited because for Penny, it will be the first time that she actually kind of understands what's going on.
Mhm.
So that's going to be
Oh,
very
that's
big.
nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
What about yours? Because you got two kids, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got two
Two and
two
a half,
boys.
two boys, two and a half, and almost four, 5.5. They desperately wait for Santa to show up. And last year he dropped bags full of presents with a helicopter.
Oh, wow, nice. Okay.
We still saw, the red light on the sky that, gave proof that he was really here.
Yeah.
And I guess this year, let's see how Santa shows up or whether he shows up or not.
Yeah.
And pretty much it seems that this is more or less the last year that we can really make them think that Santa shows up.
Whoa, really?
Yeah,
No
then
way.
I guess when he turns 6 and the big guys from school and all that, they say,
No.
Santa's isn't real. Um,
Yeah, but
so
yeah, but he is real. So
yeah,
I don't know what those kids are
but
talking about.
yeah, me neither. But I guess this will be a pretty nice Christmas this year. Probably there will be a bit of snow. Let's see,
Yeah.
and that's all the kids ask for.
For Santa Claus. And does he have a different name where you're from? Is he Santa Claus, or is there a German word?
It's a German word, yeah, Weihnachtsmann.
Weihnachtsmann.
Mhm.
Weihnachtsmann.
Weihnachtsmann, yeah,
And it means the exact same thing, Santa
yeah,
Claus,
yeah,
but Weihnachtsmann. And
yeah.
what's is there any sort of penalty different in Germany for being a
The
bad
naughty
boy?
ones.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as we know, there's the little helpers and all that of Santa who are watching the kids, and those who don't behave. I
Yeah.
mean, they won't get any presents.
That's it.
So
But they don't get like
that's pretty
a
much, yeah. There's
they,
no. I mean, in German history, there's that Santa also brings this kind of a stick or something, and smacks the kids up. But it's a
whoa.
little bit more Catholic belief, I guess. It's not what we taught our kids.
I've got a funny story, but I'll tell you in a second. But here we believe that, or that if you're naughty, or you would go to open the present, and all that's inside is just a lump of coal. That's it.
Mhm.
Just that's all you get. A lump of
Yeah,
coal. It's useless to you when you're a kid.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I was talking to one of my students recently, we were talking about traditions, and this kid is from Slovakia.
Mhm.
And he showed me this YouTube video of this guy talking about Slovakian traditions, or where people think Slovakia is, you know, in the grand scheme of the world. And then he was telling me about this tradition that they have at Easter time in Slovakia, where um, all men or young men are paid money to go around and knock on the doors of you know, the houses in the village or the town. They take sticks with them, they drag the women out of the house who live in the house, and then they throw cold water over them, a bucket of cold water, and then they beat them with sticks. And then as soon as they've done that, the women have to go and make them a meal, and they give them food, and they also have to pay them as well, because they believe that the cold water will keep them healthy, and the sticks will keep them beautiful. So they have to go
All right.
beat the young women with the sticks.
All
I was
right.
like, really? And if you have a look, there's videos online of these guys doing that. They go from house to house to house. He said you can earn an absolute fortune on Easter going from door to door to door beating the women.
Okay.
Have you ever heard
Um,
such a thing?
no, I never heard of that. But there's, I mean, a lot of interesting traditions around the world.
Yeah, especially in
Um,
Europe. Yeah.
yeah, there's well, special traditions. Mm, that makes me remind me of uh, the traditions. I mean, have you ever wondered why, especially in Bangladesh and Pakistan and in the Muslim in countries, people have these orange hair?
I have seen that. Yeah. It's some sort of blessing, isn't it? Or like,
It's
um,
betel nut juice kind of thing,
okay.
and it is rubbed into the hair as a religious tradition,
Yeah.
and so that will color the hair. If the men turn older and they have gray hair,
Yeah.
they turn them into orange hair and make them look a little bit um, interesting, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the older guys, imams or whatever, in the Muslim tradition, and they have the orange beards.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was some sort of blessing or something that they have or that they do.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm not sure of the background or the significance of that.
yeah. I
Did
mean,
you?
this world is a magnificent place, and there's so much that we, I guess, could keep on talking. So many traditions and so much stuff that amazes us. Um,
That's
but
good.
yeah, I mean, Christmas is very soon to approach, and I guess it will be a nice Christmas time this year.
It's going to be good, and we'll be in touch. So should we wrap it up now?
Yeah, I gotta go in 5. So yeah, I mean, it's been a pleasure. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me again.
no worries.
Um,
Anytime. Come back anytime.
we do our competition starting on January 1st,
Yeah.
and then the
So like,
latest I mean, everybody will see the results in 1 year's time.
yeah.
The muscle packed versions of ourselves.
I know the doorway. I'm gonna have to get all my doorways widened because I need to
Yeah,
be like, oh,
yeah,
like
yeah.
getting through the doors there.
And ask for donations for new clothes
Yeah, yeah,
because your old won't fit you anymore.
exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to ask the wife or ask Santa Claus for some new shirts and stuff because everything's gonna be baggy and the
yeah.
shoulders won't be big enough.
Bursting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Sweet
dude.
man.
So yeah,
Then
I'll be in touch. And have you got the album to send us out?
I do have. Let me just get that right. And it starts about here, I guess, isn't it?
That's it.
Hi, this is Arnold.